And this velocity that you refer to is actually the velocity with CIT. And then the next page, that is 39, you again go ahead, the first line there, County Government of Kirinyaga and Velocity Partners Limited in the month of May 2018. Again, you refer to velocity as velocity with CITY. Then down there again, Roman 1, vide an invoice dated 9th August 2018, amount invoice totaling to cash 30 million and something was paid on the same day of the invoice to Velocity. Again, Velocity with CITI. Then again, the next paragraph, that the total amount paid to Velocity Partners, again Velocity with CITY. But then now you contradict in the next paragraph. The subheading is response to allegations, where you say in Roman number 2, the company name is Velocity Partners Limited and not Velocity Partners Limited, and was in existence at the time the tender was advertised, as it's incorporated on 5th May 2017. And you go on even at Roman 3 to again mention management system which were awarded to Velocity with CITY. Why all this confusion, looking at what you produced earlier as a certificate of incorporation that shows that actually there is a registration of Velocity without an I. But in all your statement, almost the 2 pages of your statement that I've referred to, I've not gone to the rest of the statements, you refer to the wrong Velocity if it was a typo. I want a clarification on that. Thank you, Chair.
You may respond to those questions, and then we move to Senator Abshiro.
To the Chair, thank you so much, Honorable Pareno. On to the first question about Wayne Gishira and Pauline. To the best of my knowledge, these are not personal stuff to the governor, to me, because when I go to the county government, there is the HR which gives the list of the organogram, so to say. And as a procurement professional, I applied the regulations with regards to appointment of evaluation committees to recommend to the accounting officer the composition of the same. Pursuant to the relevant regulation, it is clearly indicated that the composition should be from at least 3 departments, and the secretary to that meeting, the procurement professional. It further says that 2 other departments, apart from the user department, have to be composed, have to be nominated in order to be part and parcel of the evaluation committee. And it is said that the accounting officer may appoint heads of user departments to these said evaluation committees, but again goes ahead and says, or they are representatives. As my capacity as a director, supply chain management, I recommended the names for the composition of, which include Wayne and Pauline, because Pauline is actually a head of a department, that is director administration. And significantly, Wayne Gishira also equally holds a relevant position as an ICT advisor, which is the same as the director ICT in terms of job group. So if you look at these requirements, then they meet the threshold of being appointed in evaluation committees, and not as personal staff to the governor, but because of the responsibilities they hold within the county government. So I can confirm they are allowed, to the best of my knowledge and to the facts that are presented, to be part and parcel of evaluation committees. On to the second question about the tenders and the relevant appointment letters and the relevant evaluation committees. I wish to clarify to this honorable committee chair that I didn't know that that table can be interpreted in another way. But so far what I meant by that table is, if you look at the farthest end of the column, it has a reference number. That reference number is a reference number to an appointment letter. That appointment letter has several tenders to evaluate, which includes the tenders you mentioned, Honorable Senator. So yes, the tenders are undertaken one by one, but we had one appointment letter, and also I wish to draw you back to my previous justification that this particular financial year, we had to really think outside the box and ensure that public money is spent wisely and within the law, and that by the end of the financial year, we should show the people of the people of Kirinyaga that we didn't return money. So we had one appointment letter having several evaluation committees. However, they were done separately. On the issue of velocity and velocity, as Honorable Senator has put it across, I wish to respond as follows also. I want to admit that there is that typo still reflected there, but to just justify why, or probably the reason why it is there, so that within the relevant provision we can seek clemency or something else. It is that the document was drawn by our legal team, and probably they might have also captured that error, but I can confirm, Chair, to this honorable committee, that is something which we overlooked, probably because of the time and the volumes of document. But just to be on record, the actual company which should be referred in my statement is Velocity with CTY at the end, Honorable Chair.
Thank you. Is that okay, Honorable Pareno? Honorable Vice Chair.
Thank you very much, Chair. Thank you, Carolus. I think a lot of the questions I had on my notebook have been asked by other senators and answered. When did you join the Kirinyaga government? When exactly did you join?
13th February of 2018.
February 2018. My question then relates to the health information management system that was procured. And we were told yesterday by one of the witnesses that there was actually, or there is even now, a national government health information management system that counties could have taken advantage of. Are you aware of that? And what were the reasons for which you opted to go ahead with the procurement? If that was there, because I just want to crosswalk and cross-check with the witness that was before you. Let me just finish all of them. And also there was, obviously there seemed to be quite a number of errors with regards to the velocity and the velocity issue. And at that point you have assured this committee that that is really not of material significance and that it's a typo error. Are you confirming that, and that you said that there's discretion to overlook it? Whose discretion is it to overlook it? Yours? Or the accounting office? I'd like to know whose discretion was it, and in this case, is this just coming to your attention now that you're presenting here, or is that something that came to your attention but you took the discretion to overlook it?
To the Chair, thank you, Honorable Vice Chair. On to the first question about the National Hospital Management System. As a capacity of the Director of Supply Chain Management, I have the responsibility to also for lack of a better word, do due diligence on requisitions from user departments. So this was one clear example of the same. There was the budget which was passed, approved budget. There was a requisition emanating from the Chief Officer Health at that particular time. So what I did, since it was in the media and it was in public domain that the national government had an intention of implementing a national hospital management system which is supposed to be deployed to the various counties. When I went to further get the details with regards to that particular information, at that particular time, the information I got is so far was that the software itself, it was still in the initial stage. It was like an idea supposedly supposed to be deployed, and we had a need at the county for a hospital management system. So we just agreed that in case even national comes with the software, we had indicated to the service provider that it should be able to be readily to integrate with the national system, if in case, or any other system, so to say. So that's why I took the responsibility to proceed on with the procurement of the said system. On number 2, Honorable Chair and the rest of the Honorable Committee, I wish to regret the fact that the velocity with an I and velocity with an Y is emanating to become an issue. But as a professional and a professional with high integrity, let me make it clear, and it can be on the record, that the correct company is Velocity with CTY. And I didn't overlook it. The mention of material was whether that issue, when I realized it at the professional opinion stage, warranted me to cancel the entire tender and restart. So I looked at it as material, and I confirmed earlier through the chair that that was corrected by the very relevant pertinent documents, which are the award, the acceptance, and the contract document. However, I wish to reiterate, I apologize on behalf of the rest, even on the statement, the I is still there, but I regret it. But I confirm it's Velocity CTY, Chair.
Thank you. Honorable members, we are remaining with exactly 15 minutes. So I'll accept only one question per person because we need to prepare this chamber for the afternoon session. So I'll go
Chair, could I propose humbly through you, because we as senators have taken quite substantial time, that when you're counting the time for the governor's defense, you find a way of making good the long time we have taken, so that we don't, we don't put them at a disadvantage, but it also allows senators to probe the particulars of the allegations.
Well advised, Honorable Kajwang. That is well considered. Honorable Mpayae. So if we can use 2 minutes or 3 minutes per person, so that we try and wind up before 12:30.
Thank you, Chair. I have 2 questions and just a clarification. I want a clarification on an issue that has come up, like for you to be awarded a tender, for a company to be awarded a tender, a certain person must be a chairman of the evaluation committee. I would like to know why. The second one is, you being the director of supply chain management, do you agree that there are procurement flows? And the final one is, a question that was raised yesterday by my friend Kajwang on conflict of interest. We noted that a brother to the Chief Officer Finance, Mugondadi, was or have been awarded contracts. Could it be what the Assembly was saying, like conflict of interest? And if yes, what action has the governor taken on the issue to ensure that the officers in her government are not doing business in the government they serve? Thank you.
I will take Senator Loitip-Tip. question, then you'll answer collectively.
Okay, thank you so much, Chair. And also thank you, Mr. Joseph Karilas Otieno, who happens to be the Director of Supply and Chain Management. I've heard you briefly speaking about your responsibility as the head of Supply and Chain Management, who oversees the entire disposal. True or false? True. And definitely in your professional, you know the Public Procurement and Asset Disposal Act, right? True. If I read it for you quickly, due to the constraint of time, in section 66, it's on Public Procurement and Asset Disposal Act, it states, corrupt, coercive, obstructive, or collusive or fraudulent practices, conflict of interest. Under subsection 1, it states, a person to whom this act applies shall not be involved in any corrupt, coercive, obstructive, collusive, or fraudulent practice or conflicts of interest in any procurement or asset disposal proceedings. Subsection 8, it states, for the purposes of this section, a person has a conflict of interest with respect to a procurement if the person or relative of the person, -A, seeks or has a direct or indirect pecuniary interest in other persons who seeks or contrary of the procurement. Lastly, B, owns or has a right in any property or has a direct or indirect pecuniary interest that results in the private interest of the person conflicting with his duties with the respect to the procurement. My question is, are you aware of a chief officer known as Joseph Ndathi Gichobi, who happens to be a brother to Edwin Gichobi Ndathi? My question is Pauline Kamau and Edwin Gichobi Ndathi business associate and political associate? Thank you so much.
Karilas, you may consider to answer those two. And then lastly, I'll give Honorable Beth Mugo and, of course, my good friend, retired judge, Honorable Mazayo, will wind up. You may proceed. Karilas, you may use the dispatch box.
Through the chair, Honorable Senator, if I got your question right, that certain persons seem to chair evaluation committees, through the chair, I didn't get it correctly. So
my question was, when a chair, for someone to be awarded a tender, a certain person, maybe Pauline, must be a chair of that evaluation committee for a certain company to be awarded a tender. That was my question.
Thank you so much, Honorable Senator. According to my practice, we don't pick or we don't recommend or consult on chairpersons by who they know, how well they know me or whoever, but with the relevant qualification with regards to that particular tender. So with regards to this financial year, you may see that Pauline Kamau and Wayne Gishira actually chaired quite a number of evaluation committees. But again, I want to refer back to my earlier justification. Remember, this particular financial year, most of the procurement started in February. So definitely we had to, within the law, ensure that procurement is done timely. So that is why you can see Gishira having quite a number of tenders to evaluate, chairing, that is, and Pauline on the same, but it was never appointed on favorism or who knows what.
Make your responses brief, kindly.
Okay. On to the second question on public procurement flaws, as I said earlier, I hold a lot of integrity. I don't allow such, and so I confirm there's no flaws in county government of Kirinyaga. And the issue of the conflict of interest, again, just for justification purposes, I refer you to the year 2017-2018, where I joined in February 2018. It was very hard for me to know even who is who. So I knew Pauline Kamau as a director of administration and Wayne Gishira as ICT advisor.
Good.
On to the other one, Honorable Senator.
Yeah. Chair, the part B of the question he has not answered.
Okay.
On what action has the governor taken to ensure that the officers in our government are not doing business in the government they serve?
Through the chair, to the best of my knowledge, I may not know what the governor's action, but I can say my action now that I'm quite conversant or have settled in well in the county government of Kirinyaga. So it is my initiative to implement such, but about the governor, I'm not sure. I'm not sure of the actions, especially at this time.
That's okay.
On to the next one is on section 66, Honorable Senator. Again, just as I've responded to the fellow senator, it was very hard for me to know who is related to who interests in business. So I was just objectively awarding and recommending awarding of procurement process as I see the facts.
Is that all?
Chair.
Senator Mazayo?
Chair, that's not all. He has not answered my second question, and was very precise on that. I've asked him simply, is he aware of the conflict of interest of Pauline Kamau and the brother of Chief Officer known as Edwin Kichobindadi? Are they political and business associate? Yes.
Honorable Senator.
Yes or no? You can take it.
No, I don't.
Okay.
No.
You are binding.
Retired judge? We have less than 10 minutes, kindly.
Thank you, Chair. Mine will be very, very short questions. It was your evidence that you have not signed any of those professional opinions except to allow your deputy to do so. You stated that.
Yes, currently.
Yes. But incidentally, we have noticed so many recommendations in these files. All these recommendations are opinions so that the tender can be awarded. Or you recommend them to the chief finance, I don't know, chief officer or something. Is that the position? You've recommended and signed some of these tender documents.
That's the correct position, Honorable Senator.
Now, let me ask you, is recommendation a professional opinion?
To the best of my knowledge, yes.
Okay. And finally, every society, every profession has its own society, like the Law Society of Kenya. I believe all the very senior counsels sitting behind you belong to the Law Society of Kenya. You stated that for some reason or another, you're still getting your papers and you have paid for your practicing certificate but you've told them to wait a bit so that you can finish up tying up your papers. Is that the position?
That is the position, Honorable Senator, but I may wish to clarify more.
Have you paid the amount required or stipulated in your society for you to acquire a practicing certificate?
Honorable Senator, yes, I did pay the required amount to the professional body.
Is it possible for you to ask the society to stop issuing, wait a bit, I finish up my certain subjects, so that once I'm through, I get those papers, I come back to you? Would I do the same when I go to my society, like the Law Society of Kenya? Is it possible for you to stop the society from issuing after you have paid? I would even demand that I get that practicing certificate. If they're delaying it, I would ask them, why are you delaying and I've paid? Why have you've told them to wait, to hang on after you've paid? And this year is running, now we are running June. June is almost over, we're getting to July. You're still making recommendations. You're treading very dangerously in this matter. That's my submission. I thank you, Chair.
Thank you. I would like to give Honorable Githiomi. I was not seeing him because of the mask, but I will give him an opportunity to say something. But I want to remind Honorable Senators that the person who is on trial is one Ann Mumbi Waiguru and not the witnesses. The questions you are asking should connect to one Ann Mumbi Waiguru and not the witness. The witnesses, we will use our House committees to interrogate them in another forum, but not this one. Honorable Githiomi, lastly.
Thank you very much, Chair. Chair, I have a problem with TEDA 046 and TEDA 047. The information we have is that the TEDAs were supposed to be awarded to those who had registered their companies 5 years before, or even more than 5 years before. But it is clear here that the TEDAs were awarded to Velocity. Velocity was registered in 2017, the year 2017, and the TEDAs were awarded in the year 2018. Why did you have this kind of thing? Because this makes me believe that there is somebody that you wanted to award the TEDAs. And that is why you could not even remember that this company had only been registered a year earlier, not 5 years and more.
Chair, Honorable Senator, thank you. This is my response. As I said earlier, this tender, and particularly Velocity, had bidded both tenders as a joint venture. And the joint venture they entered was with COM21, which is incorporated in the year 2000. So for purposes of such tenders, or so to say implementation, we usually encourage teaming, just in case we get to improve the qualification and the experience, because we are dealing with a software. So the two heads are better, the more the merrier, but within the qualification. So I can respond that I duly recommended the award for this particular tender on the basis that it was bidded as a joint venture.
So was the award, did you award as a joint venture or individually as Velocity?
Chair, I awarded individually as Velocity because one of the clauses in the agreement is written that Velocity will be the contractual, main contractual and lead partner.
So
And-
while considering the prerequisites of the tender, you used the qualifications of a joint venture, but at the point of awarding, you separated it and awarded it as an individual company, right?
Right, Chair.
Okay.
Chair, I really I cannot settle for that answer because it's so clear. You are the one. We were told by the witness here that whoever the contractor that was going to be awarded this tender must have been registered 5 years before the award of the tender. And I think this is why we also have a complication of Pauline, of this Pauline who is chairing most of the tenders, and also Daddy, who is a brother to the finance officer, and consequently being awarded the tenders because of their relationship. So I can see some issue here that is not working out. Come out, tell us that Velocity was awarded because of this and this reason. Don't hide in the other thing that you're hiding in.
Respected Honorable Senator, I am not hiding, and I want it to be on record. I'm not hiding anything. I am expressing or responding as my capacity as a professional. And again, just to go back, I was still new this time. I didn't know Velocity, Pauline, and everyone. So I was objectively undertaking my work with an objective mind. So just to clarify, Honorable, that I'm not hiding, and so far, that's how I awarded that tender, basically because of the joint venture.
Senator Kajwang, do you have a supplementary?
Chair, thank you for your indulgence. I think this should not take more than a minute. South Ngariama Water Project, which was awarded to Eva Trading at a cost of 11.9 million. Who recommended members of the evaluation committee?
I did, Honorable.
Who
Senator.
appointed members of the evaluation committee?
The accounting officer. Honorable
Which is
Senator.
chief officer?
Finance.
Called?
Patrick Mugo.
Patrick Mugo. Who chaired the committee, evaluation committee subsequently? Should have been Pauline, I think, from your record.
Yes, Honorable, yes.
Who signed the letter of award?
The accounting officer, who is Patrick Mugo.
Who signed the contract on behalf of the county?
The accounting officer, that is Chief Officer Finance, Honorable Senator.
And the bid was won by Eva Trading. In your recommendation, you listed the directors of Eva Trading. There was one Jackson Daddy with 100 shares, who we were told yesterday is a brother to the chief officer.
Yes, Honorable. I was told.
I'm just trying to, because there needs to be Chinese walls between accounting officers and people who bid in counties. And in your submission, because I'm looking at your statement, you have conveniently referred to Section 55 rather than Section 66 of the Public Procurement and Assets Disposal Act, where you are saying that related parties would be wife or child. But it is further expanded in Section 66, where it extends to brothers and parents, etc. If indeed, and I'm not saying it has happened, if indeed the Assembly was to prove that this tender was awarded to the brother of the Chief Officer Finance, in your view, would that constitute a breach of the regulations? It has. I'm not saying it has been proven in my mind, but if it was to be proven, would that be a breach?
Honorable Senator, definitely that will be a breach.
So in this network, where you are recommending and someone chairs and someone signs letters of awards, and it seems to be a network, where is the governor in this? Because the charge against the governor is that she has implemented a corrupt county tendering policy. So is it a policy that relatives will get jobs, or this would be treated as a one-off?
There is no policy, Honorable Senator, with regards to such.
Such
And,
that if there were infractions of the law, then it would be at the level of the officers involved.
Honorable Senator, I won't agree that per se, and I wish to just mention, according to my capacity as the head supply chain management, yes, it is now coming out, and I agree with that, but as my capacity as head supply chain management, and bearing in mind of that particular time, I couldn't get such information. But however, to respond to your clarification whether the governor has appointed a corrupt tendering policy, I wouldn't agree to that, because so far, as I know, as my capacity, I wouldn't agree to that as my capacity, and there's no such policy.
Thank you, Chair.
Thank you. Lastly, Mr. Otieno, in your introductory remarks, you alluded that you were here yesterday and you had witnesses testifying on various issues. Were you here when the chairperson of the County Public Service Board was testifying?
Yes, Chair, I was here.
Are you aware of the appointment, the controversial appointment of one Pauline?
Chair, now I'm aware.
Is it the same Pauline that is controversially mentioned in these evaluation committees?
Yes, I can confirm it is the same.
So is it a deliberate and well-orchestrated chain connecting events from a controversial appointment to now a further controversial appointment to chair certain and specific evaluation tender committees, which will eventually give specific companies tenders? So is it a web? Is it a web that is well orchestrated to achieve a certain goal in Kirinyaga County government?
And sorry, Chair, I wish to respond as follows. I, as a professional and as a head supply chain management, if my capacity as a current one, if I start inclining to such web or network, definitely I couldn't be standing here. Maybe I could be somewhere else in other investigative body. So I wish to clearly respond as follows, Chair. I'm not aware of a web. I'm not aware of a network. And my capacity then as a head supply chain was actually ended once I knew Pauline Kamau is a director administration. But all the other underlying factors, I can honestly say I'm not aware.
So you are alluding to this committee, you are just a member of a food web, but you do not know those other people.
Chairman, I won't agree to that.
That is well put. I want to give you 30 seconds or 1 minute to give your valedictory remarks. Conclusion, you will say anything?
Thank you so much, Chair, and the entire honorable committee members. I wish to conclude as follows, that number one, all the information I have said and I have submitted, they are truth and nothing than the truth. Number two, I wish to draw your attention also to my previous experiences. My first employment was at the National Treasury, where I worked until the year 2018, actually. I hold a lot of experiences and qualification through my years, and I want to tell this honorable committee that, yes, there might be some issues which look glaring, But if you dig through the facts, then you'll find the plain truth. And lastly, thank you, everyone. And I'm here to see more, but you objectively look at it. Thank you, Chair.
Thank you, Otieno.
Yes.
Carilas.
Yes, Chair. Yes,
Thank you so much for your valuable time with us. Honorable members, I think in the interest of time, we will not be able to proceed with the other witnesses. We shall defer them to the afternoon session. However, I have got a ruling to make. Remember, at the beginning of this session, the council representing Kirinyaga County Assembly made some application, and I would like to make a ruling on the application by the advocate for the County Assembly of Kirinyaga on production of original passport used for travel by Kirinyaga Governor, Her Excellency Anne Mumbi Waiguru, and whether she should be taken to stand over the same. I direct as follow. Honorable Senators, ladies and gentlemen, you will recall that on 23rd June 2020, that was yesterday, upon request by the Council for the County Assembly, this special committee directed that the Council for the Governor do provide clear copies of the passport, and the same be copied to the Clerk of the Senate by the end of the day. That was yesterday. Honorable members, this morning, the Council for the County Assembly informed this Honorable Committee that the said copies of the passport had not been provided as directed by this committee, and he further applied that the said documents be supplied in original form. In response, Mr. Nyamudi, the Council for the Governor, handed over copies of the documents to the Council for the County Assembly, Mr. Ndegwa. The Council for the Assembly, however, honorable members, holds the copies of the documents provided were not clear, and further requested that he be allowed to take the Governor to the stand over the same issue. Having listened to the Council for both parties, I want to direct as follows. One, as per the committee directions on 23rd, 2020, Council for the Governor were directed to provide clear copies of the passport and to the Council of the Assembly. Therefore, if the copies provided this morning are not clear, Council for Governor should forthwith provide clear copies of the documents to the satisfaction of this committee. Not Mr. Ndegwa, to the satisfaction of this committee, because we don't want it to be a ping-pong game whereby you're given a document and you say it's not clear. So this committee will determine whether the documents are clear or not. The same may be provided in either soft copy or hard copies. On the issue of whether the Governor should be taken to the stand over the copies of the passport, the committee notes that the County Assembly never requested for the Governor to be summoned to give evidence. It is also instructive to note that rules of fair hearing do not allow persons accused to be compelled to give evidence against themselves. This is also enshrined in our Constitution that we promulgated in 2010, specifically under Article 52, Part 1, that provides every accused person has the right to a fair trial, which includes and not limited to the rights to remain silent, to testify, and not to testify, during the proceedings. The committee, therefore, honorable members, dismisses the request by the Council for the County Assembly. That being said, Council for the County Assembly may cross-examine the matter when the documents are uttered by a witness. The committee will take all these matters into consideration when it retreats to consider its report. Thank you.
We're most obliged by that judicious thinking.
Thank you.
Thank you very much, Chairman, for that ruling.
Good. Now lunch will be served. And yeah, lunch will be served for both parties where you've been having your holding rooms yesterday, yeah, in the county hall. Red Cross. And for honorable members, you will follow your chairman for your lunch. Thank you. May God bless you.
Convene at mini chamber.
So we reconvene at mini chamber at exactly 2 p.m. Thank you.
World of M-Truck Solutions, your trusted provider for bulk SMSs. We also offer API integrations for all your communication and payment needs. We also provide you with